You can see over the fibula head there's a little bit of a gray material. Let me swing this over. Here's another nice little trick if you want to set up a lab. Set up an area where you do cast modifications over the sink so that you can wet sand and finish up your model with the water. Here's another nice little product too. You can get sand screen on a roll. So all we do is cut off them, 2 or 3 inch pieces, and as you use them and as they wear down, you throw them away. Now after we sand this model, we're going to prepare it for the insert, which is pretty basic fabrication, except that we have to make the insert over this hole so that we can make the prosthesis, and the insert will end up having a hole in it, which in some cases is to our advantage if we're doing suction, and in other cases, if we're not doing suction, we have to plug. Make sure that you plug the insert. We'll go through that at the end. We're going to start sliding this model. By the way, you don't want to Vaseline this pipe when you fill a cast. You want it to be able to lock onto the mandrel so that you can modify it and it's not sliding all over the place on you. After your cast is modified and prepared for the next project, now what we have to do is make this model slide on the mandrel, because at the end, this mandrel is going to become the mold for the pylon section of the prosthesis. So the technique that we use is first you lock it up and you just start. This is a long model, so it's going to be a little difficult. So you want to just rotate it. Just start rotating it and keep rotating it until it starts to slide. And that's it. And now it'll slide any direction you want. And what we're going to do is slide it this direction now. So we have to finish off the end. And what we want to do with it is clean the mandrel proximal to the model so that you can make it stay where you want it to stay. So now we'll slide it up here because we're going to be making the insert. We want this image complete without a mandrel sticking through it. So we'll clean that, slide it up as far as we want to go, and then lock it down with some electrical tape over here. Now, if we put the electrical tape on the end of the mandrel, now this model won't slide down the mandrel as we're pulling the insert on it and everything else, and the distal end pad and all that. Okay. Now we'll clean this up. Oh, nice clean files. Just take a little bit of that end off. This is the remainder of the image from where the knot was when we took the impression, which we don't really need. We want to create the image of the end of the silicone liner here. Okay. I'll smooth this off. Ready to prepare the insert. Okay, we now have the model mounted vertically, and you can see from the frontal view the relationship between the model and the mandrel. Remember, this is a very important thing. This is his alignment in the frontal plane. Okay. And we're going to show you also from a medial view. From the medial view, on a sagittal plane. You can see the flexion angle as opposed to the mandrel is about 10 degrees there. It looks like 10, but I think it's less. If you look at it from the lateral side, maybe you got a better idea. You can see without the light. Yeah, it's about 10 degrees there. We may want to take a little bit of the flexion out of the socket after he walks on it, but we'll adjust that if necessary. Now we're going to set this up for the fabrication of the insert. Okay. All right, so the model's all ready to go. Next thing we're going to do is make the insert. This is the situation. We're going to have vacuum going through this whole system. So what we do here is pull a nylon second, just tie a knot on the end, pull it over the model first, and we're going to vacuum form our insert over this with the nylon underneath it. The reason why is because when we get ready to make the prosthesis, we don't want to take a chance on any air getting trapped in any of the undercuts on the model. So that this is going to allow an air chamber for the vacuum to pull underneath the insert as well as between the insert and the plastic. Okay, now the next step, we have a cone prepared. Size this. That should work. Okay. By the way, this is a neat little tool. This is a high-tech, what does it say? High-tech tool for the prevention of delamination of thermoplastic foams during the heating procedure. If you don't know about this yet, it's a nice little tool to use. Just on the seam, you just slide the seam over this little wedge of wood, and that'll create like a heat sink so that the heat will not affect the adhesive that holds this cone together. Now, while we're doing that, we'll get this ready to film it.
All right.
That. That's the end. There you go. Stop it there. Okay, corner. Hold it down. Hold it down. Oh, that's good. Psychedelic. Okay. I'll take it now. Now what you do is that's right. Just hold it and wrap it with tape. Now you don't have to handle it too much. So now what happened? The heat. Now we vacuum formed the insert right on it. Notice where it curled right around the top. Now I'm going to make a cap on the top. Oh, turn off the vacuum. Look at this. What happened?